The Animal Crossing series has been around for quite some time now. It all started in 2001 with Doubutsu no Mori for the N64. We didn't have to wait too long in the West, and got the wonderful GameCube version that started our Animal Crossing journey with Animal Crossing population growing in 2002 in the US and 2004 in Europe. 2004 in Europe? Oh, localization wasn't that fast back then, huh? We got many more iterations over the years, with Wild World for the DS, City Folk for the Wii, New Leaf for the 3DS, and New Horizons for the Switch. The game that saved our lives in 2020. All games have pretty much the same things in common. I mean, you collect fruit, seashells, catch bugs and fish, decorate your house or your town and island, and you just relax, have a good time, and chill out. But the most important part, for me and many others, are the villagers. And now, we'll be giving you our top 10 villagers. These are our personal favorites, so you might see some villagers you wouldn't expect, but I don't care. Okay. But I couldn't do it alone because, that's why I got my good friend Fiber over here.
Hello, thanks for having me. I have a lot of favorite villagers myself as well. There's a lot of cool villagers across the series that vary in design, personality, and they're just lovable in so many different ways. We mixed up our list and got help from some friends to determine our overall average top 10 Animal Crossing villagers. So we hope you can enjoy seeing what we came up with.
Now let's not wait any longer and start with our number 10. And here we have our number 10, the good old Ribot. I bet we all have at least one robotic villager that we really like. A Ribot is basically just a fusion of the best animals in nature and one of the scariest things that humanity has ever created. I like that. Ribot is a jock villager and talks about his sweat a lot. Do robots sweat?
Whoever on the team decided it would be a good idea to make robotic villagers a thing within these games, you deserve a raise, seriously. Having a robotic frog vibe across your town is such a sight to behold. Not only does he look cool, but his name is such a corny pun that I can't help but really appreciate it. Ribot. Also, I always found his house in the older games really cool looking, having that sweet galactic charm to it.
From The Legend of Zelda right into Animal Crossing, Medli joins us on this list. Medli came into my town in New Leaf after the Welcome Amiibo update. And yes, you heard that right. Some of you may not know this, but there are villagers Nintendo locked out of New Horizons for some unknown reasons. Some of them were Zelda-themed villagers. Medli just really fit into my town, and I never wanted to let her go until a new game dropped. I'm still sorry about that. One thing about this though, I really missed the variety of Nintendo items we got back then. There were so many things like Pikmin items, Zelda items, Mario, Star Fox, we had everything. Sadly, New Horizons was kinda lacking in that department. Fingers crossed for the return of Medli, everyone else, and all the items that we lost.
Now, New Leaf did a lot of things right, and one of those things were the crossovers. Sure, you had a lot of cool furniture based on Nintendo's properties, but it also brought us various crossover villagers from Sanrio, Zelda, and even Splatoon. They all look really cool, but one of the most fitting crossover villagers has to be Medli. Yes, we're talking about that character from the Wind Waker. Yes, her. The Rito race in that series already have those avian characteristics, so that bird-like face she has naturally fits well when you translate her regular design into a villager. Also, did you know her birthday is on December 13th? Which is the same day the Wind Waker released in Japan? You gotta love the cool details like that. Unfortunately though, other than the Sanrio villagers, the other crossover villagers never returned, and it's such a missed opportunity! I mean, honestly, you could say that about a lot of things in New Horizons. Hopefully whenever that next game comes out on the next system, they could capitalize on that more.
Daisy is one of the most precious little dog villagers that the games have to offer. I first met her in New Leaf, and as a dog person, I immediately loved her. Not only does she look very cute and sleepy, her having a normal personality is really fitting too. She always talked about books and was always very nice. And whenever you got stung by bees, she had your back. She probably knew that I'm dumb enough to shake all the trees without a net in my pocket. Daisy is a real one.
one of the most adorable villagers in the game. If there's one animal I love, it's definitely a dog. And when video games have dog characters, you know I gotta love them. While Daisy has been in the series since the very beginning, I actually didn't know of her until New Horizons. She joined my island a few months after launch, and it's quite a blessing seeing such a happy dog run across my peaceful junkyard of an island. Also, stop making fun of her for having fleas, jerks! I hope y'all get mosquito bites in your sleep.
And now, guys, we have our first tie. Sometimes it can be pretty hard to vote without having a tie. Pietro and Cephalobot. Let's just start with Pietro. I never had Pietro in my town. I rarely ever talked to him whenever I visited my friends in other towns. I don't know, it's not like he's scaring me, but
Pietro is my freaking guy. First off, he looks just like me. Secondly, he's a clown. What's not to love about this colorful lad of wonder? Not only does he have a silly personality to match his look, he also has some of the greatest house designs in the game. This is the type of thing you'd see in a clown's afterlife. Well, a nice clown's afterlife. Moons you could sit on, carnival games, and freaking KK Parade?
And now for Cephalobot, another robot villager that's also completely new to the series. This is what I envisioned when I wanted an alien-like villager back then. Cephalobot is a smug villager that has a really cool house. The exterior looks pretty lackluster, but once you go inside, you are inside a spaceship. Cryopod and stove included. Can't wait for the space cookout with that guy.
When I first started the game, I had no idea what my villager lineup was supposed to be. I got one octopus, and then another one came, and then another one came. After the game updated to version 2.0, they added Cephalobot to the villager lineup, and given my track record of already having 3 octopuses already, I had to recruit them to fulfill my destiny of catching them all. But yeah, like we mentioned with Robot, the robot villagers are sick and quite rare. Octopuses are some of the most rare villagers in the game, so seeing this already rare species have a robot villager makes them really special. Also, that house is perfect for a supervillain. What a mischievous little lad there.
Antonio has been one of my first ever villagers that I encountered. He's a jock, he likes to brag about his abs, and yes, all of them have names. He is always there for his friends, and always up for competition. His simple design is what makes him so appealing to me. I know, you may not agree, but like I said before, I don't care. But for me, he's just one of the best out there.
I don't really hear many fans talk about the Anteater villager, sadly, but whenever they do, there's a high chance they're talking about Antonio. I myself never had him as one of my villagers, but I've had many friends that did, and he overall seems like he has a really cool vibe to him. He's always hitting the grind and working out, so I respect that heavily. Antonio, you keep up the good work, King. I'm rooting for you.
Hey Nico, what do you think about Stitches?
He's a plushie. People like him, and he's a plushie.
Stitches is a really cool villager. It's a literal sentient teddy bear, of course it's popular. We all love our gimmicky villagers. Though I do wonder, how on earth did he come to life? Did the Nooklings wish upon a shooting star, bringing him to life? Did they start singing I love you, like some Barney type shit? Either way it goes, he has a very cute design, and I love how his house gives off the vibe of a daycare center or playroom. You have to admit, that's pretty freaking adorable.
Shino came pretty late into the series and was released along with the 2.0 update. I've always liked her design. Her design is inspired by Japanese folklore, and if you look at the Hanya mask over here, you can see some similarities, like the fangs and the horns. And her house is a traditional Japanese house with tatami flooring. Her overall elegant design also convinced me that she was a snooty villager, but she's a peppy one. I would have had her in my town, but yeah, I have Tangy and look how she looks at me. I can't let her go.
Now look, I'm not typically one to hype up the overly popular villagers, but Shino definitely gets a pass. She really stands out with her design, having the whole Japanese folklore influence like Nico said before. She has the education hobby, and sometimes you can just see her vibe outside and read books. though that doesn't really prevent her from also being peppy and energetic. She's smart, but also super friendly. I'd imagine her being a really cool neighbor to have in real life. Actually, I'm kinda curious to see how much she's going for. Oh my goodness!
This takoyaki ball is called Zucker. In New Leaf, he even had a fitting shirt to go along with his design. But his happy tee that he wears now looks pretty good on him too. He's one of those villagers we all want to have in our town at least once. I gotta say though, I think Zucker is one of those villagers in New Horizons where you want to redecorate his house. Because, I mean, Zucker, what happened here? Look at his New Leaf house and just tell me that New Horizons did it better. Oh, by the way, he has a toothpick in his head and that's a bonus point.
Zucker was my very first octopus villager in the game, and I instantly loved his design. I was never really too knowledgeable of Japanese snacks and cuisines, so Zucker's presence kinda taught me something new. The existence of takoyaki, which I still need to try. It's a pretty popular Japanese street food. But anyway, I always loved having this silly guy walking across my island, though he frequently talks about the bugs he eats, like a lot, which kinda concerns me. One last thing though, his default clothing in New Horizons goes unfathomably hard. Look at that stylish boy!
Audie was one of those very sought after villagers when New Horizons came out, alongside a certain cat. Audie looks more like she's on a vacation and just here for the fun, than actually trying to get away with the getaway package. But I'm not judging. I'm happy to see more wolf villagers that have a great design, and she's definitely one of them. She actually reminds me of villagers you could only find on that island in Animal Crossing Population Growing. Most of the villagers you could find there were very special, had special designs, and just looked very cool. Maybe we live on that island now. Who knows?
Wolves are some of my favorite villagers across the series, so one definitely had to be on my list. Whitney is one of my all-time favorites, and I almost put her on the list as well, but I decided to just go with Audie, because I love her just as much. If there's one villager that fits the vibe of the game, it's absolutely Audie. Her default clothing just screams Islander. With that Hawaiian-style dress and those awesome sunglasses, she might as well be the mascot of New Horizons. You also gotta love that peppy attitude of hers.
Okay. Number 2 on this list is Elmer. My boy, my personal favorite. So Elmer is one of those villagers that don't really stand out. He's one of those villagers who just appear one day and they talk to you and turn into your best friend all of a sudden. Elmer has been in my town as City Folk, New Leaf, and New Horizons, and I never want to see a world where I have to play an Animal Crossing game without him being around. He's a lazy villager, but whenever I played, he was running up to me to tell me about the bugs in his house, or how he was dreaming about me, which is not weird at all, and all kinds of stuff. I would try to keep him away from his house at night in older games, so he would stay up longer, which is... I was a monster back then. Poor sleep-deprived Elmer was just trying to live a good life. I love Elmer, he's the best. I'll let him sleep these days too, so don't worry about him, he's fine.
While Elmer is more so Nico's favorite rather than mine, I can definitely see why he likes him so much. Just by looking at him, he seems like a gentle giant. A friendly boy at that. I looked at many tier list of the horse villagers, and it's quite unfortunate that most of the time he ends up in mid to low tier. He doesn't deserve that. Give our laid-back king some more recognition here.
And now, our number 1 villager is...
Hey Nico, sorry to interrupt, but you mind if I take charge and announce this one for you?
Yeah, sure.
Excellent! Our number 1 villager spot goes to... Hey viewers, give me a drum roll. Our number 1 villager spot goes to... Ramus Psych! Hey, I want to clarify that the following rant is clearly a joke. Please do not get offended with the things I'm about to say about this fictional cat from a video game. This is purely meant for comedic purposes, even if there's a little bit of truth behind it. You guys really thought for a second that I would announce Raymond to be the number 1 villager? Get out of here with that! Y'all really went crazy over this man when the game came out. What is it about him? The heterochromia? I mean, that's cool and all, but he still ain't all that. Y'all had this cat dressed up as a maid and charging people 300 Nook Mile tickets just to look at his ass. No. I know dang on well, y'all ain't calling all these other beautiful villagers ugly, but Stan Raymond at the same time? I just know your villager wishlist looks like this. And I bet you have these eyes! But that's not all. His listing price on eBay when the game first came out was the price of my firstborn! And I don't even have kids! Why couldn't he have lived on my island at launch? I could have been rich. He came to my island a year later when the price went down! I hate you! You got people typing APA format looking ass essays about why you don't deserve to be on somebody's island, and have you seen what happens in the villager trading servers? You can post a picture of him and your DMs will explode faster than a K-pop artist's Instagram messages. You know what? Maybe I'm being too hard on him. Look at the fit. He's just trying to be a businessman. He's probably trying to make up the lost time and money from being put in f***ing boxes and being shipped on a f***ing plane. And you guys are selling him on eBay. What is wrong with you people? Give this man a break. He's still not top 10 though. Get his ass out of here.
And our number one is the one and only Coco. Coco may look creepy as hell to some, but I always thought she looked super cute. I didn't have her in my town, but whenever I visited my wife or Firebro, she was there. I bet that she sounds like that giant SpongeBob stone statue on Windy Days. She definitely got all the points for that.
Coco is my child! Look at this pure, beautiful individual! And people are calling her ugly? She's just an innocent gyroid bunny with the kindest personality! And look at the way she compliments the sunlight despite the fact that it's dark outside! This poor baby has no light perception, and you guys are bullying her for that! She needs to be protected at all costs, and it's on sight if I ever see y'all talk bad about her. She's my freaking favorite! Bless her surprised face soul. Also, she's so fun to dress up. Look at that!
And these were our top 10 villagers in Animal Crossing. Some of these might have surprised you, some not so much. But in the end of the day, they're all pretty awesome in their very own way. And it was pretty fun. Right, Firebro?
Yeah, I guess so. It was pretty fun. Especially with our good old pal Raymond.
Anyways, here are some of the villagers that didn't quite make the cut into our top 10 list. Like I said before, they're all great, but we didn't want to have a top 50 villagers video. If you like this video, don't forget to like it, and consider subscribing if you're new. And while you're at it, why not share your personal top 10 in the comments?
And also, if you're into Pokemon, check out this cool video on my channel where Nico and I ranked our top 10 favorite fossil Pokemon. I'm a lot less aggressive in that video.
I'll have a link to that video in the description and at the end of the video. Don't forget to subscribe to Firebro, and take care, have a good one. See you next time.